standing frozen in this conference room as my manager Diana Peterson throws back her head and laughs, pointing directly at my quarterly analysis report lying crumpled on the mahogany table. Her voice carries across the entire 20th floor as she announces to our 7 team members that my work represents bargain basement quality and I should stick to simple tasks like filing and coffee runs. She tells everyone not to expect much from someone with my background. I feel every pair of eyes burning into me as my cheeks flush crimson with humiliation and rage. My name is Juliana Martinez, and I have been working at Sterling Marketing Solutions in downtown Chicago for exactly 18 months. The glass towers surrounding our building reflect the autumn sunlight as I remember why I moved here from Portland after graduating summa cum laude from Northwestern University with dual degrees in business analytics and communications. My parents died in a car accident 3 years ago, leaving me responsible for my younger brother Tyler's college tuition at Oregon State University. Diana Peterson became senior vice president 6 months before I arrived, and she has made my professional life increasingly difficult with each passing week. Her perfectly styled blonde hair never moves out of place, and her expensive navy suits make intimidating statements during every interaction. She graduated from an Ivy League school 20 years ago and never lets anyone forget it, especially women like me who threaten her carefully constructed authority. The meeting room still buzzes with uncomfortable energy after Diana's public humiliation. Brad Sullivan, her obvious favorite, sits smugly adjusting his red tie while shooting me condescending glances. His promotion to senior analyst came 3 months after mine was mysteriously delayed despite my superior performance metrics. Jessica Torres fidgets with her pen, avoiding eye contact since Diana promoted her to team lead last month. David Martinez shuffles through papers, nervously, clearly uncomfortable with the hostile atmosphere. Sarah Kim coordinates accounts but stays silent during confrontations. Tom Rodriguez handles creative direction and pretends to study his laptop screen. Amanda White manages projects and stares out the window, seemingly detached from the drama unfolding. Diana continues her assault on my professional reputation. She waves my report dismissively and declares that my predictive analytics model for client retention shows elementary understanding of strategic thinking. Her words cut deeper because I spent 3 weeks developing innovative algorithms that identified patterns in customer behavior nobody else had discovered. The methodology incorporated advanced machine learning techniques I learned through independent study and weekend coursework. This kind of amateur work might impress people at state schools. Diana sneers deliberately, misrepresenting my Northwestern education. But here at Sterling, we maintain standards that reflect our premium client relationships. Brad chimes in with his own cutting remark about the participation trophy generation, earning approving nods from Diana. The other team members shift uncomfortably in their chairs, recognizing the unfairness but lacking courage to speak up. I grip my hands tightly under the conference table, fighting the urge to defend myself and potentially make the situation worse. The report Diana mocks contains breakthrough insights about customer lifetime value predictions and retention strategies that could revolutionize how Sterling approaches client relationships. My analysis identified specific behavioral indicators that predict client defection 6 months before traditional metrics would detect problems. The recommendations included targeted intervention strategies that could increase retention rates by 35% while reducing acquisition costs. Diana schedules individual performance reviews for next week, making thinly veiled threats about my future at the company. Her smile feels predatory as she assigns me basic administrative tasks that waste my analytical skills. The meeting ends with everyone filing out silently, leaving me alone with the crumpled papers and the lingering scent of Diana's expensive perfume. Walking back to my cubicle, I notice other departments watching through glass partitions. The humiliation spreads beyond our team as colleagues whisper about Diana's public takedown of my work. My computer screen displays emails from clients praising previous projects I completed, creating painful contrast with Diana's harsh assessment. The afternoon drags slowly as I complete mindless data entry tasks Diana assigned as punishment. My Northwestern education in advanced statistics and predictive modeling feels wasted on formatting spreadsheets and organizing files. Tyler texts me about his upcoming midterm examinations, reminding me why I endure this toxic environment. His tuition payments depend on my steady income, making job security more important than personal dignity. At exactly 4:37 in the afternoon, Diana's assistant, Lucy Chin, bursts through the conference room doors, where Diana conducts another meeting with senior executives. Lucy's usually composed demeanor appears frazzled as she interrupts the discussion with urgent news. Through the glass walls, I watch Diana's confident expression shift to confusion as Lucy whispers frantically in her ear. The twist that changes everything comes in the form of a phone call from our most important client. Robert Harrison, Chief Executive Officer of Harrison Industries, demands to speak immediately with whoever created the exceptional predictive analytics model in the quarterly report. Lucy explains that Mr. Harrison specifically mentioned the retention algorithm and strategic recommendations that Diana had just finished mocking publicly. Diana's face drains of color as she realizes which report Harrison references. Her hands tremble slightly as she tries to maintain composure in front of the other executives. The irony hits with devastating force as she understands that our biggest client wants to discuss the very work she dismissed as bargain basement quality less than 1 hour earlier. The morning after Diana's humiliating performance review brings fresh challenges as she attempts desperate damage control. She corners me in the break room before anyone else arrives, her usual polished appearance slightly disheveled from a sleepless night. Her voice carries forced friendliness as she suggests we collaborate on responding to Harrison's request, though her eyes reveal calculation rather than genuine partnership. Juliana, I think there might have been some miscommunication yesterday. Diana begins, her tone dripping with false sincerity. When I provided guidance on your report, perhaps my feedback came across more harshly than intended. We should work together to present a unified response to Mr. Harrison's inquiry. Her suggestion that she provided guidance makes my stomach turn. Diana never reviewed my work before the meeting, and her complete ignorance of the methodology became obvious during yesterday's disaster. She demands that I provide her with detailed explanations of every algorithm and strategic recommendation so she can appear knowledgeable during future conversations with Harrison. The threats come next, delivered with Diana's characteristic blend of professional language and personal intimidation. She reminds me about my probationary status and suggests that my continued employment depends on demonstrating team loyalty. Her definition of loyalty clearly means allowing her to take credit for my innovations, while I remain silent about her intellectual theft. Brad appears in the doorway, offering unsolicited support for Diana's version of events. He suggests that my work must have incorporated ideas from previous company projects or external sources, implying plagiarism without making direct accusations. His smug expression reveals enjoyment at my discomfort as he positions himself as Diana's loyal lieutenant in this campaign of professional sabotage. The personal stakes become clearer as I consider my limited options. Tyler's tuition payment is due next month, and losing this job would devastate our financial stability. The Portland job market offers fewer opportunities in my field, and relocating back would mean abandoning the career progress I sacrificed so much to achieve. Diana understands my vulnerability and exploits it with calculated precision. During lunch break, Jessica Torres approaches my desk with nervous energy. She glances around the office before leaning in to share disturbing information about Diana's pattern of taking credit for other people's work. Her voice drops to a whisper as she reveals that Diana stole her client presentation last quarter and received a $5,000 bonus for what was entirely Jessica's creative development. She made me sit in the meeting and watch her present my ideas. Jessica confesses, her hands shaking slightly. When I tried to speak up, she cut me off and later threatened my performance review. The executives think Diana created that entire campaign strategy. Amanda White joins our conversation, sharing her own experience with Diana's systematic theft of intellectual property. 3 months ago, Amanda developed an innovative project management system that reduced client delivery times by 20%. Diana claimed credit during a board presentation and earned recognition for improving operational efficiency. I documented everything, Amanda whispers, pulling out her phone to show saved emails and project files. Diana's been doing this for years, but nobody wants to challenge someone with her connections to upper management. Sarah Kim reveals additional disturbing information about Diana's campaign to undermine my reputation throughout the company. She shows me email threads where Diana questions my qualifications and suggests that my work requires constant supervision. These messages went to department heads and senior executives, systematically poisoning their perception of my capabilities. She told the human resources director that you struggle with basic analytical concepts. Sarah explains, her voice filled with indignation. I was copying Diana on project updates and saw her responses. She's been building a case against you since your first week here. The scope of Diana's manipulation becomes clearer as we compare experiences. She targets women who show exceptional talent or threaten her position through superior performance. Her tactics include stealing credit for successful projects while ensuring that any failures get attributed to the original creators. The pattern spans 3 years and involves at least 6 female employees who eventually quit after facing similar treatment. Tom Rodriguez overhears our conversation and shares his perspective as someone who has watched Diana's behavior from the creative department. He describes how she systematically isolates talented women by spreading rumors about their work ethic and professional competence. Her goal appears to be maintaining her position by eliminating potential competition rather than improving actual performance. She got Sandra Williams fired last year. Tom reveals, referring to a former analyst who showed exceptional promise. Diana convinced everyone that Sandra was taking credit for team projects when actually it was the opposite. Sandra created brilliant market analysis reports that Diana presented as her own work to the board of directors. The afternoon brings Diana's next escalation as she schedules a formal performance review for Friday morning. She emails me a list of alleged deficiencies in my work, none of which reflect actual problems with my analytical output. The document includes accusations about missed deadlines that never occurred and quality issues that contradict positive client feedback. Her strategy becomes obvious as I review the fabricated performance issues. Diana plans to create an official paper trail justifying my termination or demotion, protecting herself from potential retaliation when Harrison's request exposes her fraud. The timing feels deliberate, designed to discredit me before Robert Harrison can recognize the true source of the innovative work. Lucy Chen stops by my desk late in the afternoon with another concerning update. She reveals that Diana spent the entire morning studying my report and taking notes, clearly preparing to discuss technical details she never understood. Diana also scheduled coaching sessions with Brad, apparently hoping he can help her appear knowledgeable about predictive analytics during client conversations. She's panicking, Lucy confides, checking to ensure Diana remains in her office. Mr. Harrison called again this morning, asking specific questions about methodology and data sources. Diana couldn't answer anything and had to promise a detailed follow-up by tomorrow. The twist that transforms our situation comes from an unexpected source. Patricia Donnelly, Sterling's chief financial officer, approaches my desk personally rather than sending an assistant. Her presence draws attention from colleagues as she asks if we can speak privately about client retention strategies and analytical methodology. I've been reviewing quarterly reports from all departments, Patricia explains as we walk toward her corner office. Your predictive analytics work stands out significantly from anything we've produced previously. The potential impact on our client relationships could be transformative for Sterling's competitive position. Patricia's interest creates immediate complications for Diana's plan to claim credit. As CFO, Patricia Donnelly has direct access to Robert Harrison and significant influence over strategic decisions. Her recognition of my work legitimizes its value while exposing Diana's complete ignorance of the underlying concepts and methodology. Friday morning arrives with Harrison Industries' request for an immediate follow-up meeting to discuss implementation of my retention strategies. Robert Harrison specifically wants to meet the brilliant strategist who created the innovative predictive model, putting Diana in an impossible position since she cannot demonstrate basic understanding of the analytical concepts involved. The conference room fills with Sterling's senior leadership team as Patricia Donnelly coordinates the high-stakes client meeting. Michael Campbell, our chief executive officer, attends personally since Harrison Industries represents 30% of Sterling's annual revenue. The pressure intensifies as everyone understands that losing this client would trigger company-wide layoffs and potential bankruptcy for our division. Diana arrives early to prepare, wearing her most expensive charcoal suit and carrying a leather portfolio filled with notes she compiled by studying my report overnight. Her nervous energy becomes obvious to everyone as she reviews talking points and practices technical explanations that she clearly does not comprehend. Brad Sullivan accompanies her as backup, though his understanding of predictive analytics proves equally superficial. The other team members file into the conference room with varying levels of awareness about the unfolding drama. Jessica Torres knows the truth about Diana's fraud, but lacks power to intervene. Amanda White documents everything, carefully recognizing potential legal implications. Sarah Kim appears uncomfortable with the deception, but fears retaliation if she speaks up. Tom Rodriguez observes with professional detachment, understanding that creative departments rarely get involved in analytical disputes. Robert Harrison enters the building at exactly 10 o'clock, accompanied by two senior executives from his strategy department. His reputation for technical expertise precedes him, as industry publications frequently quote his insights about data-driven decision-making and predictive modeling applications. Diana's plan to fool someone with his background reveals her complete disconnection from reality. The meeting begins with Michael Campbell providing background about Sterling's commitment to innovative client solutions. Patricia Donnelly presents quarterly performance metrics and highlights exceptional results from recent analytical projects. Diana positions herself prominently at the conference table, preparing to claim credit for work she publicly dismissed just days earlier. I understand someone here developed an outstanding predictive retention model. Robert Harrison begins, his voice carrying authority and genuine interest. The methodology appears sophisticated, and the strategic recommendations could revolutionize how we approach customer relationship management. Diana immediately responds with prepared remarks about leading the analytical team and developing innovative approaches to client retention challenges. Her presentation sounds rehearsed as she discusses advanced statistical concepts using terminology she learned through cramming sessions. Brad supplements with supporting comments that reveal his equally superficial understanding of the underlying mathematics. Harrison's questions become increasingly technical as he probes deeper into the methodology and data sources. He asks about algorithm selection criteria, statistical significance testing, and validation procedures that Diana never considered during her hasty preparation. Her answers become vague and contradictory as she struggles to maintain the facade of expertise. Can you explain your approach to handling multicollinearity in the regression analysis? Harrison inquires, referencing a specific statistical challenge that requires deep understanding of advanced analytics. Diana's response reveals her complete ignorance as she provides a nonsensical explanation that contradicts basic statistical principles. Brad attempts to help by discussing general concepts he found through internet searches, but his contribution makes the situation worse by exposing their shared lack of genuine expertise. Harrison's expression shifts from interest to confusion as Diana fails to answer fundamental questions about her supposed analytical work. His patience diminishes with each inadequate response, and the other Sterling executives begin recognizing that something is seriously wrong with their presentation. I'm concerned about the level of understanding demonstrated here, Harrison states diplomatically but firmly. The original report showed sophisticated grasp of predictive modeling concepts that doesn't seem to match this discussion. The devastating twist comes when Harrison reveals his background as a former data scientist at Microsoft before inheriting his family's manufacturing business. His expertise in machine learning and predictive analytics makes Diana's fraudulent claims impossible to sustain under scrutiny. The room falls silent as everyone realizes that Diana has been exposed as a complete fraud in front of Sterling's most important client. I spent 8 years developing similar models for customer retention at Microsoft. Harrison continues, his voice carrying disappointment and growing anger. The person who created this report clearly understands advanced concepts that aren't being demonstrated in today's presentation. Michael Campbell's face turns pale as he grasps the implications of Diana's deception. Patricia Donnelly takes careful notes while maintaining professional composure despite recognizing the potential disaster unfolding. The other executives exchange worried glances as Harrison's frustration becomes increasingly obvious. "I need to meet with whoever actually created this analysis," Harrison declares firmly. The discrepancy between the report's sophistication and this presentation suggests that either you're not the real author or you're deliberately withholding information. Diana makes one final, desperate attempt to maintain her charade by suggesting that she delegated technical details to team members while focusing on strategic oversight. Her explanation sounds hollow and unconvincing as Harrison demands specific answers about algorithmic choices and statistical assumptions that only the actual creator could provide. The meeting reaches its breaking point when Harrison threatens to terminate Sterling's contract unless he can speak directly with the person who demonstrated genuine expertise in the original report. Michael Campbell realizes that their biggest client relationship hangs in the balance, while Diana continues her futile attempt to claim credit for work she never understood. Patricia Donnelly finally intervenes by suggesting they bring in the actual analytical team member responsible for the technical development. Her diplomatic approach provides Diana with a face-saving exit while acknowledging that someone else possesses the expertise Harrison seeks. "Perhaps we should include Juliana Martinez in this discussion," Patricia suggests, glancing meaningfully at Michael Campbell. "She handled much of the technical implementation and can address your specific analytical questions." The moment of truth arrives as Lucy Chen receives instructions to bring me to the boardroom immediately. Diana's fabricated authority crumbles as Harrison insists on speaking with someone who can demonstrate actual understanding of the predictive modeling concepts that impressed him in the original report. Walking into the boardroom feels like entering a courtroom where my professional future hangs in the balance. The tension in the room is palpable as Diana sits rigid in her chair, her earlier confidence completely evaporated. Patricia Donnelly gestures for me to take the seat directly across from Robert Harrison, positioning me as the focus of this crucial conversation. "Mr. Harrison, this is Juliana Martinez, our senior analyst who developed the technical components of the retention model." Patricia announces, her tone carrying subtle emphasis on the word technical. The diplomatic language provides Diana with minimal face-saving while acknowledging the truth about authorship. Harrison's demeanor immediately changes as he begins asking specific questions about my methodology and analytical approach. His expertise becomes evident as he probes into algorithmic selection criteria, data pre-processing techniques, and statistical validation procedures that I incorporated into the predictive model. Unlike Diana's fumbling attempts, I can explain every decision and justify each technical choice with confidence. "Your approach to feature engineering shows sophisticated understanding of customer behavior modeling." Harrison observes, his approval becoming obvious as we discuss advanced concepts. "The way you integrated temporal patterns with demographic variables creates a robust framework for retention prediction." The conversation flows naturally as Harrison and I explore the mathematical foundations underlying my analytical work. We discuss machine learning algorithms, cross-validation techniques, and performance metrics that Diana never understood, despite her desperate cramming sessions. Michael Campbell and Patricia Donnelly listen intently, recognizing genuine expertise when they hear it. Diana attempts to interject with comments about providing guidance and strategic direction, but Harrison politely dismisses her contributions while maintaining focus on technical details. Her irrelevance becomes increasingly obvious as Harrison and I delve deeper into methodological specifics that require years of study and practical experience to master. I'm particularly impressed by your approach to handling missing data and outlier detection. Harrison continues referencing specific sections of my analysis that Diana never mentioned during her failed presentation. These techniques demonstrate advanced understanding of real-world data challenges. Brad Sullivan tries to support Diana by claiming collaborative development, but his comments reveal complete ignorance of the analytical concepts we're discussing. Harrison's patient but dismissive responses to Brad's interruptions make clear that he recognizes authentic expertise versus superficial knowledge gained through last-minute preparation. The broader truth about Diana's systematic deception begins emerging as Patricia Donnelly asks pointed questions about the development timeline and team contributions. My honest responses contradict Diana's earlier claims about providing guidance and strategic oversight, exposing her complete lack of involvement in the analytical work. Actually, I developed this model independently over 3 weeks. I explained, maintaining professional tone despite the awkward situation. The methodology incorporates techniques I learned through additional coursework in machine learning and predictive analytics. Harrison nods approvingly, while Diana's face grows increasingly pale. Michael Campbell takes notes as he recognizes the implications of discovering exceptional talent within their organization while simultaneously uncovering management fraud. The power dynamics in the room shift dramatically as my expertise validates Harrison's initial assessment of the report's quality. Lucy Chen quietly enters the boardroom and whispers urgent information to Patricia Donnelly, who excuses herself briefly to handle what appears to be another crisis. The interruption creates uncomfortable silence as Diana struggles to maintain relevance in a conversation that has moved far beyond her comprehension. Patricia returns with disturbing news about additional developments that compound Diana's problems. Other department heads have been calling with questions about recent projects and team contributions, suggesting that Diana's pattern of taking credit for others' work is being investigated more broadly. We've received several inquiries from clients and internal stakeholders about authorship of various analytical projects, Patricia announces diplomatically. It appears there may be some confusion about individual contributions to team deliverables. The revelation that Diana's fraud extends beyond my situation creates additional complications for her position. Harrison observes these developments with growing concern about Sterling's management practices and quality control procedures. His investment in our partnership depends on working with competent professionals rather than fraudulent supervisors. Mr. Harrison, I want to ensure you have direct access to our most qualified analytical resources. Michael Campbell states, clearly trying to salvage the client relationship. Juliana's expertise aligns perfectly with your technical requirements, and we're committed to providing the highest level of service. Harrison's response transforms the entire dynamic as he expresses strong preference for working exclusively with me on future analytical projects. His confidence in my capabilities creates immediate leverage that Diana cannot counter, since losing Harrison Industries would devastate Sterling's financial position. Based on today's conversation, I'd like to propose expanding our engagement to include additional predictive modeling projects. Harrison announces, his enthusiasm obvious as he addresses me directly. Your analytical approach could benefit several other areas of our business operations. The offer represents a massive opportunity that could transform my career while simultaneously exposing Diana's irrelevance to Sterling's most important client relationship. Patricia Donnelly recognizes the strategic implications as Harrison essentially requests my direct involvement while bypassing traditional management hierarchy. Diana makes one final desperate attempt to insert herself into the expanded project by offering to coordinate team resources and provide strategic oversight. Her suggestion falls flat as Harrison politely but firmly indicates his preference for working directly with technical experts rather than through intermediary managers. I appreciate the offer, but my experience suggests that direct collaboration with analytical experts produces better results. Harrison responds diplomatically but definitively. Juliana clearly understands the technical requirements, and streamlined communication will improve project efficiency. The meeting concludes with Harrison scheduling follow-up sessions exclusively with me to discuss expanded analytical services. Patricia Donnelly coordinates the arrangements while pointedly excluding Diana from future project planning. Michael Campbell observes the proceedings with growing recognition that Diana's behavior threatens Sterling's most valuable client relationship. As everyone files out of the boardroom, Diana remains seated with the stunned expression of someone whose carefully constructed facade has completely collapsed. Her authority evaporates as colleagues recognize that our biggest client prefers working with me rather than accepting her fraudulent leadership. The afternoon brings immediate consequences as Patricia Donnelly announces a comprehensive review of recent project contributions and management practices. Diana's pattern of taking credit for others' work faces formal investigation, while I receive recognition for exceptional analytical capabilities that impressed our most demanding client. The weekend passes quietly as I process the dramatic shifts occurring at Sterling Marketing Solutions. Monday morning brings news that Diana has hired an employment attorney, apparently preparing to contest any disciplinary actions through legal challenges. Her desperation becomes obvious as she attempts to reframe the situation as workplace discrimination rather than intellectual fraud. Patricia Donnelly schedules an urgent meeting with Sterling's legal counsel to review documentation related to Diana's systematic pattern of taking credit for others' work. The investigation expands beyond my situation as additional employees come forward with evidence of similar treatment spanning multiple years and numerous projects. Jessica Torres provides sworn statements about Diana's theft of her client presentation and subsequent threats about performance reviews. Amanda White submits detailed documentation showing how Diana claimed credit for her innovative project management system while ensuring Amanda received no recognition for improving operational efficiency. I kept copies of everything, Amanda explains during her meeting with legal counsel. Every email, every draft, every version control record that proves Diana stole my work and presented it as her own development. The evidence against Diana becomes overwhelming as former employees provide testimony about their experiences with her fraudulent management practices. Sandra Williams, who left Sterling last year, returns to give a deposition about how Diana systematically destroyed her reputation while stealing her market analysis innovations. Human Resources discovers that Diana has been manipulating performance reviews and documentation to support false narratives about female employees' capabilities. Her personnel files contain fabricated complaints and exaggerated deficiencies that contradict actual performance metrics and client feedback. Tom Rodriguez from the creative department reveals that Diana pressured him to exclude women from high-visibility projects while ensuring that any successful outcomes could be attributed to her leadership. His testimony exposes Diana's deliberate strategy of limiting opportunities for potential rivals while positioning herself as the source of all analytical innovations. Tuesday brings Robert Harrison's return visit to Sterling with expanded project proposals worth potentially millions in annual revenue. He specifically requests exclusive collaboration with me for developing predictive models across multiple business units, creating enormous value for Sterling while bypassing Diana's supposed authority entirely. Juliana's analytical expertise represents exactly what we need for transforming our customer relationship management, Harrison explains during his presentation to Sterling's board of directors. Her innovative approach could revolutionize how we understand and predict customer behavior patterns. The board members recognize the strategic importance of Harrison's expanded engagement while simultaneously grasping that Diana's fraud nearly destroyed their most valuable client relationship. Patricia Donnelly presents preliminary findings about Diana's pattern of intellectual theft, creating urgent pressure for decisive action. Michael Campbell faces a clear choice between protecting Diana's position and securing Sterling's financial future through genuine partnership with Harrison Industries. The decision becomes obvious as board members express unanimous support for prioritizing client satisfaction and authentic expertise over fraudulent management. Wednesday morning brings dramatic developments as additional Sterling clients contact the company requesting direct collaboration with me for their analytical projects. Word has spread through industry networks about my innovative retention modeling, creating demand that far exceeds Diana's ability to claim credit or maintain control. Harrison Industries announces their intention to sign an exclusive 3-year partnership, specifically contingent on my direct involvement in all analytical initiatives. The contract value exceeds $2 million annually, representing Sterling's largest individual client relationship and creating tremendous leverage for my negotiating position. Diana attempts to rally support from male executives who benefited from the old boys club culture, but her efforts backfire as they distance themselves to protect their own careers. Brad Sullivan suddenly claims that he always suspected Diana was taking credit for others' work, attempting to position himself as a whistleblower rather than an accomplice. I tried to warn people about Diana's behavior. Brad lies desperately contradicting his previous enthusiastic support for her fraudulent claims. But everyone assumed she was qualified for her position, so I didn't push harder. Patricia Donnelly announces the results of her financial audit, revealing that Diana has been submitting unauthorized expense claims for client entertainment that actually involved personal activities. The embezzlement charges compound her intellectual fraud, creating criminal implications that extend far beyond workplace misconduct. Diana charged over $15,000 in personal restaurant bills and entertainment expenses to client development accounts. Patricia reports to the legal team. The documentation clearly shows these activities had no legitimate business purpose. Thursday brings news that Diana's employment attorney has advised her to accept immediate termination rather than face criminal prosecution for embezzlement. The evidence against her has become so overwhelming that fighting the charges would likely result in jail time and complete destruction of her professional reputation. The transformation at Sterling accelerates as Patricia Donnelly offers me Diana's position as interim senior vice president pending board approval for permanent appointment. The promotion comes with immediate salary increases and direct authority over analytical strategy for all client relationships. Your expertise and integrity represent exactly what Sterling needs for moving forward, Patricia explains during our private meeting. The board recognizes that promoting authentic talent serves everyone's interests better than maintaining fraudulent leadership. Friday morning brings Diana's final appearance at Sterling as security escorts her from the building with her personal belongings in cardboard boxes. Her career in consulting effectively ends as industry networks share information about her fraudulent practices and legal troubles. Harrison Industries announces their contract signing ceremony for Monday, with me designated as Sterling's lead analytical strategist for all project initiatives. The partnership validates my capabilities while demonstrating that authentic expertise ultimately triumphs over manipulative politics and fraudulent authority. The other women who suffered under Diana's harassment receive promotions and public recognition for their contributions to Sterling's success. Jessica Torres becomes senior analyst with responsibility for client presentation development. Amanda White earns promotion to director of project management with authority over operational efficiency initiatives. This changes everything for women at Sterling, Jessica observes during our celebration lunch. Diana's removal sends a clear message that talent and integrity matter more than political manipulation. The weekend brings reflection about how quickly justice arrived once Harrison's expertise exposed Diana's fraud. The experience teaches valuable lessons about standing up for truth and maintaining professional integrity despite intimidation and threats from fraudulent authority figures. Monday morning arrives with Diana's desperate return to Sterling, accompanied by her employment attorney, James Wellington, who specializes in wrongful termination lawsuits. Their strategy involves claiming that Diana was victimized by ambitious subordinates who conspired to steal credit for her innovative management approaches and strategic guidance. My client was terminated based on false accusations and manipulated evidence, Wellington announces during the meeting with Sterling's legal team. The real issue here involves workplace harassment directed against a successful female executive by jealous colleagues seeking advancement through character assassination. Diana's narrative attempts to portray me as the primary instigator of a coordinated campaign designed to steal credit for her analytical innovations. She claims that I manipulated other female employees to support false accusations while hiding my own mediocre performance through political maneuvering and client manipulation. Juliana Martinez systematically undermined my authority and poisoned client relationships against me. Diana declares her voice carrying forced conviction despite obvious desperation. Her supposed expertise results from stealing my proprietary methodologies and presenting them as original work. The absurdity of Diana's claims becomes immediately apparent as Wellington realizes his client has no documentation supporting her version of events. Sterling's legal counsel presents overwhelming evidence of Diana's intellectual theft, including time-stamped files, email records, and witness testimony that completely contradict her fraudulent narrative. Robert Harrison arrives voluntarily to provide testimony about Diana's complete ignorance of analytical concepts during their technical discussions. His expertise as a former Microsoft data scientist destroys any possibility that Diana could have developed the sophisticated methodologies she claims as her intellectual property. Diana demonstrated no understanding of basic statistical concepts, let alone advanced predictive modeling techniques. Harrison states clearly for the record, her inability to answer fundamental questions about methodology proves she had no involvement in creating the analytical work. Wellington attempts to challenge Harrison's testimony by suggesting that technical interviews don't necessarily reflect overall project leadership and strategic development capabilities. His argument collapses immediately as Patricia Donnelly presents financial records showing Diana's embezzlement of client entertainment funds. The audit reveals systematic misuse of company resources for personal benefit. Patricia explains providing detailed documentation of Diana's fraudulent expense claims. These charges represent criminal activity that extends far beyond workplace disagreements about project attribution. Diana's face turns pale as the embezzlement evidence destroys her remaining credibility. Wellington advises her to remain silent while he reviews the financial documentation that proves criminal behavior rather than simple workplace conflicts. Former employees provide devastating testimony about Diana's pattern of harassment and intellectual theft spanning multiple years. Sandra Williams describes how Diana destroyed her career through false accusations while stealing her market analysis innovations for personal advancement. Diana systematically isolated me from colleagues and clients while claiming credit for my analytical breakthroughs. Sandra testifies through video conference from her new position in Denver. Her behavior forced me to leave Sterling despite loving my work and achieving excellent results. Lucy Chen, Diana's former assistant, provides crucial evidence by submitting emails that document Diana's deliberate sabotage of female employees. The electronic records show Diana's calculated efforts to undermine women's reputations while positioning herself as the source of all departmental innovations. She specifically instructed me to exclude certain women from client meetings and project communications. Lucy reveals her testimony destroying Diana's claims about providing equal opportunities and collaborative leadership. Wellington recognizes that his client's position has become legally untenable as evidence mounts against her. The combination of intellectual fraud, embezzlement charges, and systematic harassment creates multiple grounds for termination that no employment law can challenge successfully. Based on the evidence presented, my client is prepared to accept the termination settlement to avoid protracted litigation. Wellington announces effectively acknowledging defeat while protecting Diana from criminal prosecution. The settlement agreement requires Diana to forfeit all severance benefits while accepting permanent prohibition from claiming credit for analytical work performed by Sterling employees. She must also repay the embezzled funds and agree to confidentiality restrictions that prevent her from discussing the case publicly. Patricia Donnelly announces my official promotion to Senior Vice President with full authority over analytical strategy and client relationship management. The appointment comes with significant salary increases and equity participation that recognizes my value to Sterling's future success. Juliana's expertise and integrity represent Sterling's commitment to authentic leadership and innovative client service. Michael Campbell declares during the company-wide announcement. Her promotion reflects our dedication to rewarding genuine talent and maintaining the highest professional standards. Harrison Industries celebrates the resolution by expanding their partnership agreement to include additional analytical projects worth over $3 million annually. The contract specifically designates me as the exclusive Sterling representative for all technical discussions and strategic planning initiatives. This partnership represents exactly what we envisioned when seeking analytical expertise, Harrison explains during the contract signing ceremony. Juliana's innovative approaches will transform how we understand and serve our customers. Other major clients follow Harrison's example by requesting my direct involvement in their analytical projects. The demand for my services creates opportunities that exceed Diana's ability to claim credit or maintain relevance in Sterling's strategic planning. Brad Sullivan faces demotion for his complicity in Diana's fraudulent schemes, while other employees who enabled her behavior receive formal reprimands. The comprehensive accountability measures ensure that enabling intellectual theft and workplace harassment carries professional consequences. Everyone who supported Diana's fraud shares responsibility for the damage to our company culture, Patricia explains during the disciplinary announcements. Rebuilding trust requires acknowledging that silence enables abuse and corruption. The afternoon brings additional vindication as industry publications contact me for interviews about innovative retention modeling techniques. My professional reputation grows beyond Sterling as analytical experts recognize the sophistication of my methodological approaches. Diana's departure creates immediate cultural transformation as female employees express relief about working without fear of harassment and intellectual theft. The toxic environment she created disappears quickly, replaced by collaborative relationships and genuine recognition of individual contributions. Friday evening brings celebration with colleagues who supported truth during Diana's reign of manipulation and fraud. Our victory represents more than individual justice, demonstrating that authentic expertise and professional integrity ultimately triumph over political manipulation and systematic abuse. 6 months after Diana's disgraceful departure from Sterling Marketing Solutions, my professional life has transformed beyond anything I imagined possible during those dark days of harassment and intellectual theft. The senior vice president position comes with responsibilities that challenge and inspire me daily, while providing financial security that allows Tyler to focus completely on his studies at Oregon State University. Tyler successfully completes his sophomore year with a 3.8 grade point average in mechanical engineering, crediting our family's sacrifices for his academic achievements. His text messages overflow with gratitude for the opportunities my career success created, making every difficult moment with Diana worthwhile in retrospect. Sterling Marketing Solutions wins the prestigious Analytics Innovation Award from the American Marketing Association, specifically recognizing our client retention modeling breakthrough. The recognition validates my methodological approaches while establishing Sterling's reputation as an industry leader in predictive analytics applications. Harrison Industries expands our partnership, again adding international market analysis projects that showcase my techniques to global audiences. The collaboration produces remarkable results as customer retention rates increase by 42%, while acquisition costs decrease by 38% across all business units. Juliana's innovative approaches revolutionized our understanding of customer behavior, Robert Harrison explains during his keynote speech at the International Business Analytics Conference. Her expertise transformed theoretical concepts into practical solutions that deliver measurable business value. Other Fortune 500 companies recruit Sterling specifically to access my analytical capabilities, creating a waiting list for consulting services that extends beyond our current capacity. The demand validates my decision to persevere through Diana's harassment while maintaining focus on professional excellence despite personal attacks. Diana's consulting career remains effectively destroyed as industry networks share information about her fraudulent practices and legal troubles. Employment opportunities in analytics disappeared completely after news spread about her inability to understand basic statistical concepts during client presentations. She's become a cautionary tale about the importance of authentic expertise in analytical roles, explains Margaret Foster, a recruitment specialist who tracks industry talent movement. Companies specifically ask us to verify technical capabilities to avoid hiring someone with Diana's fraudulent background. My leadership responsibilities include establishing mentorship programs for junior female employees, ensuring that talent development occurs transparently without favoritism or intellectual theft. The initiatives create supportive environments where women can showcase abilities without fearing harassment or credit manipulation. Jessica Torres thrives as senior analyst, developing innovative client presentation techniques that earn recognition from industry publications. Her success demonstrates how removing toxic leadership allows authentic talent to flourish and contribute meaningfully to organizational objectives. Amanda White leads operational efficiency initiatives that streamline project delivery while reducing costs and improving client satisfaction. Her promotion to director validates the importance of recognizing individual contributions rather than allowing managers to steal credit for subordinates' innovations. Sarah Kim coordinates expanded account relationships with confidence and authority that were impossible under Diana's oppressive management style. Her professional growth illustrates how authentic leadership empowers team members rather than undermining their capabilities through manipulation and intimidation. Tom Rodriguez collaborates freely across departments, developing creative campaigns that integrate seamlessly with analytical insights. The elimination of Diana's divisive politics enables genuine teamwork that produces superior results for Sterling's diverse client portfolio. Lucy Chen earns promotion to executive assistant for Patricia Donnelly, escaping the toxic environment created by Diana's demands for complicity in fraudulent schemes. Her integrity during the investigation contributed significantly to exposing Diana's systematic abuse and professional misconduct. The cultural transformation at Sterling attracts exceptional talent as word spreads about our commitment to authentic leadership and professional integrity. Recent graduates from prestigious universities specifically request interviews because they want to work in environments that reward genuine contributions rather than political manipulation. Michael Campbell frequently references our experience as an example of how organizations must prioritize substance over politics to maintain competitive advantages in analytical industries. His leadership during the crisis established Sterling's reputation for accountability and authentic expertise recognition. Patricia Donnelly implements company-wide policies preventing intellectual theft while ensuring that individual contributions receive appropriate recognition and compensation. The systematic changes protect future employees from experiencing Diana's abusive management practices. Diana's behavior represented everything wrong with traditional corporate cultures that prioritize appearance over substance. Patricia explains during her presentation to the National Association of Financial Executives. Our response demonstrates how authentic leadership creates sustainable competitive advantages. My personal growth extends beyond professional advancement, as the experience taught valuable lessons about standing up for truth despite intimidation from fraudulent authority figures. The courage required to maintain integrity under pressure strengthened my character while validating the importance of supporting justice over convenience. Tyler visits Chicago during spring break, marveling at my corner office with his panoramic views of Lake Michigan and the Chicago skyline. His pride in our family's journey from tragedy to triumph provides emotional satisfaction that exceeds any financial benefits or professional recognition. You saved our future by refusing to give up when Diana tried to destroy your career, Tyler observes during dinner at one of Chicago's finest restaurants. Your strength and integrity inspired me to work harder because I understand the sacrifices you made for my education. The personal relationships with colleagues who supported truth during Diana's harassment continue growing stronger as we collaborate on innovative projects that challenge traditional marketing approaches. Our shared experience created bonds that extend beyond workplace interactions. Harrison Industries announces plans to establish an internal analytics department based entirely on methodologies I developed offering me the position of Chief Analytics Officer at triple my current salary. While flattered by the opportunity, I choose to remain at Sterling, where my leadership can continue protecting other employees from experiencing Diana's abusive treatment. At Sterling represents more than just career advancement, I explained to Harrison during our discussion about his generous offer. My position here allows me to ensure that toxic leadership never again threatens talented professionals who deserve recognition for their authentic contributions. The deeper life lesson from this experience involves understanding that authentic talent and dedicated work ultimately triumph over manipulation and favoritism when good people unite to support truth and justice. Standing up to bullies requires courage, but the personal and professional rewards justify the risks involved. Building alliances with other victims of abuse creates powerful movements for positive change that transform entire organizational cultures. Individual courage becomes collective action when people recognize their shared interest in promoting integrity over political convenience. True leadership means lifting others up rather than tearing them down for personal advancement. Diana's destructive approach created temporary advantages through fraud and intimidation, but authentic leadership builds sustainable success through genuine collaboration and talent development. Justice may be delayed when powerful people abuse their authority, but truth ultimately prevails when victims maintain courage and documentation while seeking allies who share their commitment to professional integrity and ethical behavior. The experience validates my belief that remaining true to personal values creates stronger foundations for success than compromising integrity for short-term advantages. Diana's fraudulent approach destroyed her career permanently, while maintaining authenticity established my reputation for the entire industry. Looking toward the future, I feel grateful for the trials that strengthened my character while establishing my professional reputation. The harassment and intellectual theft that seemed devastating at the time actually created opportunities for growth that would never have occurred under normal circumstances. Sterling's continued success demonstrates how organizations benefit from prioritizing authentic expertise over political manipulation. Our client relationships thrive because they are based on genuine capabilities rather than fraudulent claims about non-existent achievements. Have you ever faced a situation where someone tried to take credit for your hard work or achievements? How did you handle it? And what advice would you give to others experiencing workplace harassment or intellectual theft? Your experiences and insights could help someone else find the courage to stand up for themselves when facing similar challenges. Thank you for joining me on this journey from humiliation to triumph. Remember that your authentic talents and genuine efforts will ultimately be recognized when you maintain integrity, despite facing intimidation from fraudulent authority figures. Please like this video. If Diana's downfall brought you the same satisfaction it brought me, subscribe for more stories about justice prevailing over workplace abuse. Share this with anyone who needs inspiration to stand up for themselves, and comment below with your own experiences overcoming professional bullies and toxic leadership. Your voice matters, and together we can create workplaces where talent thrives instead of being suppressed by insecure managers who steal credit from their subordinates.